Hi everyone, it's Miss Terry, and I'm here today to talk about my February picks for graphic novels for students in grades 7th through 8th. We're going to start with this one. It's a graphic novel version of Evil Thing, which is a part of the Disney villain story, and this is the backstory of Cruella de Vil. It does not really follow the movie that just recently came out, but it's a different interpretation of why Cruella is the way that she is. And again, it's written in graphic novel format. EXO, The Legend of Whale Williams, is a story about a young man in Nigeria who is the son of a famous scientist, but he realizes that his country is in grave danger, so he uses some of the tech that his dad has created in order to battle the evil that is trying to take over his community. So it's called EXO, action-packed. If you like Black Panther and things like that, you probably really will enjoy this story. And by that same author, I talked about Malika, the Warrior Queen before. It takes place in way back when, in the 14th century, and she is reluctantly becomes the empress of the queen of her empire, against her. Her dad isn't really interested in her doing that, but her country's been at war for a long time, but she's able to finally unite them. Unfortunately, the Ming dynasty then turns its eye towards her empire and would like to take over. Well, luckily, she's able to find the dragon's destiny sword that is going to help her defeat her foes, and then she has a new foe in the second volume in that series. We also have a new sequel for Quincredi, who ended up getting his powers from an asteroid strike that hit the Earth, and he was given the powers of invincibility, which at first he's like, yeah, this isn't so great. I still get beat up by the bullies, but it just doesn't hurt. But he's able to figure out a way to use that power to his best abilities. And then the second one, The Hero Within, has just come out, where he is thrown into the underbelly of New Orleans, where he discovers the history of voodoo and what that means for the new world that they are in. Amethyst is the story about a girl named Amaya, who is kind of the spoiled, rotten daughter of the king and queen of Amethyst in the Gem Empire. And she has a tendency to be a troublemaker, and her brother kind of pull some pranks that go a little bit too far, so her parents end up grounding her to earth for a week. Unfortunately, something happens, and she ends up there for 3 years having no memory of her magical life, until one day somebody comes down to retrieve her, and now she's thrown back into this magical world and the life of the palace, and this is what happens to her. It's called Amethyst. The Orphan King is about a boy named Prince Caden, who's been secretly training with his magical aunt, away from the kingdom. However, when he returns, he discovers that his kingdom has been attacked. His mom and dad are supposedly just gone, and there's a price on his head from the warlord who took over their kingdom, looking for him. Well, he ends up hiding out with a group of outlaws who betray him and threaten to turn him in for the reward money, but in reality, they're going to rescue him again in the hopes of finding his mother, who turns out is still alive, even though his dad is gone, and the prince decides to help them. It's called The Orphan King. And then the last graphic novel, this one is called Other Boys, and this is about a boy named Damien who's starting a new school in 7th grade, and he's really been bullied a lot for being different, and he decides that he's not going to speak anymore, and he thinks, maybe if I just keep my mouth shut, they'll just leave me alone. Unfortunately, this just actually makes things worse, especially when the bullies discover that his mom is dead, that his dad is gone, and he's living with his grandparents in a very poor environment, and also the fact that he is gay, and he can't really understand why he likes boys when they are so very mean to him. So this is called Other Boys. Enjoy.